Hey everybody, welcome in. We are gonna just give a quick update on what is going on. Now, thankfully, about 15 minutes ago, the severe thunderstorm warning in place for Jefferson, Blount, Tuscaloosa has expired. Although, we still have a lot of lightning strikes involved. And you have to give me a moment, I sprinted down here, but we are also getting damage reports. This is from Cherokee County, Broomtown Fire Department. We also had damage reports from Kimberly in northern Jefferson County. Power lines down the 700 block of Doss Street. Caller stated lightning struck a tree, which caused limbs to fall on power lines. So even though there's no warnings associated with any of these storms, doesn't mean they're not packing a punch. So I really want to zoom in to some of these storms to just show the reflectivity, because of course that's how you see how hard it's raining. Now, especially just south of downtown Birmingham, Homewood, Vestavia Hills, eventually Hoover, the Shannon area. Very heavy rainfall falling right now. Wouldn't be surprised maybe if some small hail was also falling. Pretty impressive signature just south of I-20, still in Jefferson County, but near the Bibb County, Tuscaloosa County line, and the Shelby County line. And I'm actually going to take a look at potential hail. So thankfully, no hail is falling, and that is great news with that. And another thing too about all of the velocities tonight, we're not going to get caught by surprise by a rogue tornado like we had a couple of weeks ago. There's basically no rotation in any of these storms. So that was base velocity. This is storm relative velocity, which factors in where these storms are moving and of course how fast they are, and just no signs of any rotation anywhere. Now, they were also reporting from the National Weather Service of Birmingham 30 to 40 mile per hour measured from Bessemer up to Birmingham. So between that and a lack of reports and radar presentation, we have allowed the severe thunderstorm warning to expire and have transitioned back to strong storm statements. Now, I really want to focus on that for a second too, because even though there are zero warnings associated with anywhere in this line, does not mean these storms are not strong, does not mean these storms are not going to cause an impact, because I want to point something out too. If you're watching the news at 6, I talked about this. This thin line right here, out ahead of the main line of thunderstorms, that is an outflow boundary. We see these all the time during the summer. That's when the thunderstorm loses its updraft and the downdraft takes over. Imagine you have a big bowl of water, you keep pouring water in, and then you spill it. All of that water spills out, hits the ground with force, and goes everywhere. That's essentially what these thunderstorms are doing, and what that outflow boundary is. It's all of the wind, any kind of hydrometeors, which could be hail, thankfully it doesn't look like it in this scenario, and wind all going down at the same time and going out everywhere. So even though higher outflow boundary, outflow dominated storms, they are tending to start to weaken, and it significantly drops your tornado threat. It can also temporarily significantly increase the chance of damaging wind gusts or even microburst or downburst potentials, which can cause a lot of damage. So once again, right now, no severe warnings, no severe watches in place anywhere in Alabama, which is great news. But I'm going to take that off and once again take a closer look at some of these storms. So just to the east of Margaret, up in St. Clair County. So I would say if you're really anywhere on Logan Martin Lake, within the next 10 to 20 minutes, this little patch of cells is going to be coming your way. Downtown Birmingham, from Birmingham all the way down to Homewood, Vestavia Hills. Some wicked rain. I wouldn't be surprised if we also had some isolated flooding instances in downtown Birmingham, but so far we have not gotten any reports on that, which of course is great news. Take a look at some of our Skywatcher reports. Storm just now entering Vance with heavy rain. No hail just rain and lightning. No severe in Clay, just some big rumblings in the sky with some light shows. Temperatures dropping quick, no hail, great news. 13 mile per hour gust in Pinson. Wind picking up at the Bessemer Airport. That was about 20 minutes ago. So, of course, that's great news. And that's what that outflow boundary is showing, that in general, storms are trending weaker, even though it gives you that very brief window where you could have damaging winds, 60, 70, 80 miles per hour. I really don't think the storms quite have enough oomph in them today to produce this. So going to continue going down the line, further down to the south and west. Still have very high reflectivities right over the border of Shelby County, Jefferson County, and extreme northeastern Tuscaloosa County. South Shades Crest Road, where it kind of hugs the Shelby County, Jefferson County line. Not far from Eastern Valley Road, not far from McCalla, McAdory area. So I would say this is north of Montevallo, by the way. Western Shelby County, extreme western Shelby County. Pretty wicked looking line of thunderstorms, or really just a patch of thunderstorms, will be moving your way shortly. And it's kind of been taking an east-northeast approach just with the way these storms have been moving today. And I believe I also hear wind currently going at our studios here in Pelham. We're just about right here, really just north of downtown Pelham. And we don't have any rain yet. We can see that on radar, but you can already hear the winds picking up. That outflow boundary has moved through. And another thing with outflow boundaries, as they push through, you might have 5, 10, 15 minutes before the punch of the main thunderstorm that pushed that outflow boundary out will be arriving. So that's looking at Jefferson County. We're going to go down to Bibb County. So West Blockton, Primitive Ridge, looks like very heavy rain, but even as far south as Centerville, Brent, Eolan, that outflow boundary just pushed through. So the boundary pushed through, might have some sprinkles, but heavy rain is going to be right on the backside of that line of showers and storms. So that's Bibb County, really stretching from Montevallo, 6 miles, Centerville and Brent, Duff Settlement, Harrisburg, through Bibb County. Now let's go further west, Tuscaloosa County. It looks like the overall thunder trend or lightning trend is going down. The intensity is still there in terms of rainfall, because remember, reflectivity just shows rainfall. But heavy rain falling from Tuscaloosa down to Moundville and parts west. Foster's exit 62 down to Knoxville, the Romulus, Jenna area near the Pickens County, Greene County line. We also have some heavier rain falling still in parts of Mississippi, but I'm going to change the radar over just for a second. So that first look was from Birmingham radar, but you can see the intensity of the rain from a different radar site is a little bit lower because this radar is a little bit closer to this particular batch of rain and storms. But I would still say heavy rains falling right over Benevola. This is the Sipsey River, Aliceville, Carrollton, Lake Aliceville, Pickensville, which is real close to that Mississippi state line. Reform Gordo up Highway 82. I'd still say heavy rain is falling, but I would almost argue that the severe threat for those in northwestern Pickens County, Walker County, Fayette County, Lamar counties, Marion, Winston, I could almost argue that your severe threat is over. Even though it's still going to rain, you might have a rumble of thunder or two. The chance of severe weather impacting your location, if you're up I-22 northwest of Birmingham, remember Winston, Fayette, Lamar, Marion counties, northwestern Pickens counties, severe threat is really all but over. But still, if you're south of Birmingham, southeast of Birmingham, you still have to watch out for some of these cores that might pulse up. So we now have rain falling over downtown Hoover, Indian Hills. Eventually that'll be in the Indian Springs Village area, which is north and east of Pelham. Chelsea's quiet for now. Dunavant is having rain. St. Clair County still having some rain. And remember, I said it earlier, Logan Martin Lake, right now I'd estimate 10 to 15 minutes before you might need to batten down the hatches as this big pulse of rain and thunderstorms will be pushing through. But this still looks like the most impressive signature so far. And it's especially impressive because it's so close to the radar site. So it's not shooting way high up in the atmosphere, way high up into the storm. It's actually shooting relatively low into the storm and still picking up some pretty high reflectivity values, this area of purple and pink. And I want to go back, see no hail. I'll be very thankful, no hail, no small hail, no big hail, anything. And back to the storm relative velocity, because remember, that takes in the relative motion of the storm. So this is really not even making that much wind. So based on reflectivity, South Shades Crest Road, County Road 13 in western Shelby County, Cherokee Beach eventually, Roebuck, Colmont, Gurney Junction in southwestern Shelby County. Yeah, you do have very high reflectivity values, but there's no rotation. So you do not have to worry about a tornado as this system moves through. It might be loud like a tornado because of the thunder and the lightning and the pounding rain, but we are not concerned with the threat of a tornado. And I'm just gonna, once again, kind of back up, take a reset, and see where everybody's at. So we have heavy rain falling over extreme southern Greene County, just north of Demopolis. Some heavier rain falling in York, that's in Sumter County. We'll go down there and take a look at that. But also remember this too, this is shooting way high up in the atmosphere as opposed to Shelby County, where it wasn't shooting that high. So we likely still have very heavy rain falling near Forkland, up Highway 43 from Utah to Forkland. Heavy rain falling from Moundville to Tuscaloosa, where Alabama and Auburn are actually just about to tip off. Very heavy rain falling and likely some thunder and lightning associated with that. Still, without a doubt, the most impressive signature so far in western Shelby County near South Shades Crest Road. Still no hail involved with that, thankfully. But I would say Colmont, Roebuck, Navajo Pines, Kingwood, Alabaster, Brantleyville area, it's likely going to be loud within the next 15 to 20 minutes. No tornado is expected at all because there's no rotation, but it's likely going to be potentially as loud as a tornado. And let's see if we have any new reports rolling in from our sky watchers. Peak wind gusts at 9 miles per hour in Helena, McCalla. We're on the downslope of Shades Mountain, so never high winds from the west. Not severe in Clay, that's from David Graveman. So thankfully, the wind gusts haven't been that high. Valerie Hughes in 5 Points in Tuscaloosa had a peak wind gust of 21 miles per hour. Brent Wyatt up in Morris, same thing, about 16 miles per hour. So great news from that front. It's just not packing as much of a punch as we were thinking. 20 mile per hour gust in Countrywood and Vestavia, that's from John Gentle. And also too, with the very heavy rainfall, that'll saturate the ground very quickly. And with very saturated ground, it's not gonna take a severe thunderstorm criteria wind gust at 58 miles per hour to knock down trees or power lines. It can easily knock down small branches, which fall on a power line and completely knock out power. And I'm going to go back to the National Weather Service and see if we have any reports from there. Nothing new from them, so that's great news. Basically, all of these storms are being blanketed as special weather statements, which is a step below the severe thunderstorm warning, but it's still saying, hey, this storm's going to pack a punch. You might need to take your precautions and take this thing seriously because it's going to be loud. So still this very impressive looking line of thunderstorms pushing into Shelby County. And I'm going to put it just on a 1 hour loop. We're just going to loop it for 1 hour. There's that outflow boundary coming through. There's that line moving through. So time is now 7:27. It's almost 7:30. And I would still estimate within the next 10 to 15 minutes, Roebuck, Colmont, Eaglewood Estates, Brantleyville, where actually the Cahaba Wildlife Retreat is out there just west of Alabaster and Brantleyville. For Alabaster, Pelham, Saginaw, Calera further down to the south, Calera, you might have a little bit more time to wait. But if you're in Pelham, Alabaster, Indian Springs Village, Royal Oaks, I would give it 15 to 20 minutes before this patch of thunder and lightning is going to be heading your way and bringing very heavy rainfall. And I want to do something kind of interesting too. I want to cut this storm in half, and we get to see exactly how high these reflectivity values are going. So if you have a storm that's going up to 30,000 feet, that's a pretty significant storm. But even the highest, which is probably where the radar beams cut off, is going from about 15,000 to about 25,000. And I wouldn't doubt if we had some hydrometeors going as high as 30,000 feet. That's just showing that updraft is still pretty strong. Warm air is getting sucked up into that storm, rain's going up with it, and the downdraft, rain's coming down with it, and with that, winds are coming down with it. So it's still a very impressive looking signature on radar. So once again, I'm going to back out, do another reset. Time is just about 7:30, and still the areas of note are pushing into Shelby County, northern Bibb County. Centerville and Brent not being impacted by this. But if you're in Chelsea, Shoal Run, Inverness, got a pretty impressive looking system pushing its way through. And I know that's a very menacing looking hook on radar, but I want to ease your mind that there's no rotation with any of these storms. So it's a tornado threat is off the table for us tonight. And of course, that's great news. We're not expecting any surprises like we had a couple of weeks ago with the tornado up in Center Point and Pinson. Another Cherokee County. Power lines down in Center. Power lines down Center Fire Department and the EMA. So that was about 4 minutes ago. So now we're going to go up to Center and take a look at them because they've already had the past two damage reports come in. So, and I might need to pull from High Top. That's the Huntsville radar to try to get a better look at this. So we do have some pretty high reflectivity values over Center. Moving into Georgia, only 2 lightning strikes or 1 lightning strike associated with this whole thing. And it's probably this little bright notch right over the Alabama and Georgia line. But we are getting reports in Center of power lines being down, Broomtown Fire Department, which is once again up in Cherokee County, flooding being involved by the St. Roch Fire Department up in Cherokee County. The Broomtown Fire Department has low-hanging limbs and power lines down. And I want to do another thing and take a look at our current power outages across the area. So let's go to currents, and then we'll go to power outages, county power outage total. So here's what we're seeing so far from the power outage aspect of it. I'm going to pixel query this so we can estimate a number. So in Jefferson County, about 300 people without power. Walker County, about 1,000 people without power. Tuscaloosa County, about 700. Pickens County, about 100. Fayette, Lamar, 200 and 100 respectively. Marion County, about 100. Winston County, about 200. And they were actually the first damage reports that we had coming in near Lynn and Harrison in the southwestern corner of Winston County. Coleman County's got about 100. St. Clair County's got about 800. Talladega County around 100. And Etowah County sitting at 200. So we do have some power outages across the area. And thankfully I can say that for folks up in Fayette, Lamar, Marion County, Winston County, even though it's still raining, the real punch of the storm is over. And the punch of the storm is currently pushing its way into Shelby County, where we still have those very high reflectivity values. Switched radar back to Birmingham. Still very high values pushing through Colmont and western, that's really west of I-65 in Shelby County. Maline, Mossboro, Eventually, it'll be near the Cahaba Wildlife or Cahaba Public Hunting Land in Brantleyville, and then eventually Alabaster, Pelham, Kingwood, Indian Hills. It's likely going to be loud, but once again, there is nothing on velocity that would indicate a tornado. No rotation of any kind from the base or the storm relative velocity, which remember takes in the movement of the storm. But I do want to pixel query these winds to give you an idea of what's coming. So let's go to a little bit brighter green, just south of Cherokee Beach, about 36 miles per hour. Remember, this is radar estimate. This is probably about 500 to 800 feet above the ground, which would indicate about a 27 to 30 mile an hour wind gust at the surface. Up here near Indian Springs Village and Wendover, about 38 miles per hour. Same thing realistically, probably about a 30 mile an hour wind gust. Here east of I-65, same thing. So just roughly 30 mile per hour winds are pushing into Shelby County right now. There are no warnings associated with any of these storms currently anywhere in Alabama, but it doesn't mean that these storms are not pushing through. And everywhere else, we have rain falling over our northwestern counties, Marion, Fayette, Lamar, Winston, Walker County, Coleman counties. It looks like heavy rain falling in Pickens County, but that's just because the radar site's kind of far away. The rain not quite as heavy as it's being perceived by radar in Pickens County, but rain is still falling. Eventually, Centerville and Brent down in Bibb County will likely be dealing with some thunderstorms as this outflow boundary continues to push through. Up in St. Clair County, we have thunderstorms pushing through Pell City, right over Logan Martin Lake, I'd say right now. Cropwell, I believe Coosa Island is over that way. Eventually it'll be in Lincoln. Really, it's going to be riding I-20 up here in Calhoun County and Jacksonville, likely having some issues, rain falling in Etowah County. And remember, we still had some, all right, here's from the Cherokee County EMA. Here are all the reports. This is all the reports we have so far, and they've all been isolated to Cherokee County. So 2125 Friendship Avenue, which is Sandrock. Tree down across the roadway, blocking both lanes, no power lines. Power lines down at County Road 99 at County Road 60. That's Broomtown. Across the roadway, power lines are down a tenth of a mile from 60 if going to Georgia. And you have to, excuse me, I'll take a sip of coffee. Tree down at County Road 166 at County Road 715. Tree down blocking both lanes. That's near Sandrock. Tree down at 1408 County Road 144 in Galesville. Tree down blocking the roadway. A water rescue at 3565 Alabama Highway 9 in Cedar Bluff. Boat stuck in the water, buoy marker 72 tied to it. It was a center console boat. And that's another thing too. These storms are approaching Logan Martin Lake right now. If you know anybody that's out on Logan Martin Lake right now, you need to tell them to get off the water, just get inside. Especially if you're on water, that makes you a prime target for lightning. Power lines down South River Street at Mackey Street. That's in Center. And County Road 136 past County Road 686 in Cedar Bluff. Tree down across the roadway. So if you're in any other county, right now we have no other reports. All of those reports were from Cherokee County. That's all we have so far. Now, if you know of something that happened, you can send it to us, you can email us, call the police, because the police are also active in this chat. They'll send out the information, and you can actually help warn other people of what's going on. So, another reset. Showers and thunderstorms, thankfully not severe, but strong, are currently pushing through central Alabama. The most impressive signature so far has been very close to the radar. that's now approaching I-65 in Alabaster, Pelham, Maline, even though it's pushing through Maline right now. And the radar site is near the Shelby County Airport. So this is showing that very heavy rain is falling. The radar site's about, or the airport's about right there, right across the interstate is the airport. So this thing is only shooting maybe a couple of 100 feet into the air. And that's basically a surface observation from a radar standpoint. So basically can confirm by radar that very heavy rain is falling in the Brantleyville area, which is just to the west of Alabaster. Alabaster, Pelham, you're about to get hit next, 5 minutes or less. And it's also producing currently 10 lightning strikes, which of course lightning is frightening. So still that storm approaching Alabaster, pushing through Helena right now, Pelham, Saginaw, Varnon's area, just south of Saginaw, where a lot of the industrial parks are. Very wicked looking line of storms is approaching I-65 right now. A little bit further to the north in northeastern Shelby County, Simsville, Watkins, County Road 17 right here, just south of Indian Springs Village. Once again, very heavy rainfall, 4 lightning strikes. Still in Shelby County. Shoal Run, Brook Highlands, this is 280 to Chelsea. Very heavy rainfall. Just to the east of Liberty Park, that's in Jefferson County. Grants Mill, heavy rainfall. Stewart's Crossroads, heavy rainfall. Buc-ee's, though, is just getting some light rain for now. But if you're at Buc-ee's, you got some more rain coming to you. Moody, Chula Vista, Pell City, right over Logan Martin Lake. Very heavy rainfall. And even though it doesn't say any lightning strikes are being recorded, just play it safe. If you know anybody on the water, tell them to get off the water, because even though no lightning strikes are occurring, doesn't mean that lightning is not ever going to happen. It's just a good idea to get off the water. And currently still have no other reports other than Cherokee County. Storms passing through Demopolis, gusty winds and rain only. So that was Samuel Bozeman down in Demopolis. Got some pictures coming from Hoover. Actually, I'm going to do something too. I'm going to pull up our sky cams and see what we can see. So that's up in Jasper. Remember, the rain is all but over for Jasper. Or the severe threat's all but over for Jasper. It's just rain at this point. But this one is looking north from the Alabama Power Building in downtown Birmingham. This is more so looking towards Gardendale, Fultondale area up I-65. I believe you can kind of make out a SIPCO to the left of I-65. I hear thunder right now in Pelham. And I'm going to point out where some of these storms are and see if we can get a better look at it, because a lot of these storms are very prolific lightning makers. 158 lightning strikes so far. So I think if we go to the American Village, which is in Montevallo, we should have a very good look at the light show on tap for us, even though it's currently pitch black at the American Village without the lighting. So you see nothing happening right now, but this is at the American Village in Montevallo. This is the tallest point in all of Shelby County. So if we get lightning, we're definitely going to see it. So there we go. We got some lightning. And then go back to the radar to try to find some other areas with a lot of lightning. Down in Demopolis. We actually have a very good camera down in Demopolis, so I'm going to switch over to that now. Eventually. Now switching over to night vision down in Demopolis. Either that or a lightning strike just hit it. Oh, there we go. So rain is definitely on the camera down in Demopolis. Wind's probably blowing. Don't know how well we would see a lightning strike in night vision. But that's just the deal with all of these storms that have been pushing through. They're loud, they're producing thunder, lightning, winds upwards of 30 miles per hour, I would estimate so far. And thankfully, that's really about it. We're getting no other reports from our sky watchers or the National Weather Service. A few wind damage reports from sub-severe winds involving single tree and or power lines. It's all in Cherokee County. Sandrock, Broomtown, Galesville, Center, Cedar Bluff, all in Cherokee County, northeast of Birmingham. But, so we do have a little bit of lightning down in Demopolis, and I believe a lot of these are going to be frequent lightning makers, especially the further south and east we go, because that area just quite hasn't been tapped into yet. So there's some lightning right there. So once again, this is going to be a loop. So no watches, no warnings are in place. Of course, that's great news. We go to the stream and see if. So Pickens County, I would say the severe threat for Pickens County is done. The rain is not done, but the severe threat is. So Pickens County, Debbie Ferguson, I would say that your severe threat is done. Still rain, might hear some thunder, might see some lightning. Etowah County, so we're going to zoom into Etowah County. So thankfully it's quiet. I can kind of pinpoint exactly where some of you guys are asking. So zoom out. That's St. Clair County. So Etowah County, you do have rain falling, but it doesn't really look like anything's happening on the back side of that, like from Coleman County or Marshall County or Blount County. So I'm going to pull from the high top radar, which is near Huntsville again, and zoom into Etowah County. 0 lightning strikes in Etowah County. Doesn't mean lightning's not going to happen, but it's not currently happening. But really, I would say if you're in Etowah County, the severe threat is over. The rain's not over, but the severe threat is over. Back to Birmingham radar. Can we have an update on what is to come from the west? So from the west, I'm going to go to modeling now to give you an idea. I need to change the time real quick. I do apologize. So remember, this is all modeling. No model is perfect. As Span says, no model is perfect, but some are helpful. And actually, this looks a little bit overdone. So over the next several hours, rain and storms are going to be pushing through. But you see these high pops of purple and pink. I really don't foresee that being an issue. I don't see storms strengthening that much as we go through with the rest of the evening. This model's at 10 p.m. Keep going through, keep going through. I just don't see storms strengthening very much the further east it goes, like Talladega County, Clay County, Coosa County, even those northeastern counties, Etowah, Calhoun, Cherokee counties, Cleburne counties. Rain, yes. Thunder, potentially. Lightning, potentially. Heightened severe threat, I really don't think so. So, for all intents and purposes, let's just say by midnight, the severe threat should be over. There's still likely going to be some rain as this system kind of pushes out. Early morning on Sunday, getting up, getting ready for church, might be a stray shower. No thunder tomorrow morning, but maybe some rain. No thunder is expected. But we're going to have to watch the progression of this stationary front. Stationary fronts can be very difficult to kind of forecast what's going to happen with them. So I'm going to go up in our time a little bit to tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. And just know these storms are going to be pushing through. The stationary front's going to be pushing through. And there might be some storms that fire up along that line. Because sun's warming us up. We're going to have some energy left over. And then I have to use a different hour because I'm kind of running out of time on that hour. So we're going to go to 22. Hopefully that'll be enough. So some, depending on the hour, some says something, some says nothing. Just plan for a chance of rain tomorrow morning. I'm going to zoom out once again. And it looks like now that could be worrisome in the sense of some heavier rain. We'll be down here in Greene and Hale counties. South, that's Marengo County, Perry County to the east. Perry County's quiet right now. There's a outflow boundary pushing through, but still a lot of lightning associated with this. I'm going to pull up velocity. That's storm relative, so it takes in the motion. This is base velocity. So I wouldn't doubt if there were some high winds associated with this. I'm going to switch back over to Columbus, Mississippi. Yeah, as of right now, definitely going to keep an eye on that. And storms pushing through Alabaster, Pelham, Helena, eventually Calera. 15, 20 minutes or so, Calera will be impacted by this. But now that storm we were talking about earlier with the lightning is now going through Montevallo, producing about 5 lightning strikes as it pushes through. So that's the biggest thing for right now. Lightning, gusty winds, 20 to 30 miles per hour, which can still knock down trees and power lines. And I don't really see a hail threat, not really a tornado threat. But it's certainly going to be something we're still going to monitor as we go through the evening. Now, I am going to take a short break. We're going to leave the stream up so you can still monitor the radar in real time. But I am going to take a short break, and I'll be back in about 10 to 15 minutes with more updates. Thanks for watching, everybody. All right, everybody, we are back and we are going to just once again take a look at what's all going on. In general, the storms that are pushing through Shelby County that we were talking about earlier are weakening. Great news, but we're still keeping a very close eye on a system or on a storm that's about to push into western Perry County that is still producing some pretty high reflectivity values. So Greensboro, Rosemary, New Bern, high reflectivity values still being shown. I would say very heavy rain. No indication of any kind of rotation. That's still great news from base or relative, although we still might have some higher wind gusts in that area. So once again, just kind of give you an idea, northern Perry County, eastern Hale counties, 41 miles per hour, that high up in the air based on radar would probably indicate about a 30 or so mile an hour wind gust with that. So sub-severe, below severe limits, great news. Everywhere else though, we got these storms that are still pushing through parts of Shelby County, about to be into Talladega County, producing 5 lightning strikes right over Vincent, Harpersville, 280 and 231 connect. More rain about to push into Chelsea, 4 Mile, Wilsonville. And these lightning strike counters have also started to go down, which of course is great news. That means the storm's generally starting to weaken. Heavier rain falling in Columbiana, likely some heavy rain falling right over the radar site. Calera, that's Highway 25 that goes out towards Lay Lake and Shelby. Heavy rain falling. And yeah, it still looks like we have a kind of a higher peak of reflectivity just to the south and east of Calera. So that's likely very heavy rainfall. No hail being associated with it. That's great. But Columbiana, very heavy rainfall. This is Lay Lake. Likely very heavy rainfall about to start. Might be a lightning strike here or there. But these will be mainly for these northern marinas. So further down to the south, you have places like Bozos, Waxahachie, but these are more like Paradise Point. I believe Beeswax is further off to the north, closer to Wilsonville. That'll be more so the area to keep an eye on for these stronger storms to push through. So here's Paradise Point. Very heavy rain about to head that way. Further off to the north, all these little bends in the river. There's one little slough where Beeswax is in that very heavy rain is coming through right now. No lightning strikes, but I would still say, even if you're on the water or know somebody on the water, get off of the water if you're in Lay Lake. Because this is wicked storms pushing through. And now one lightning strike is coming in further off to the north, still in Shelby County, but now we're going to go up to Logan Martin Lake, the southern portion of Logan Martin Lake. Vincent, 231, Rocky Ridge, Cropwell, Alpine Bay. Heavier rain falling. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Heavier rain falling out in the Brookwood, Coaling area in eastern Tuscaloosa County. Still about 8 lightning strikes associated with that. Still some higher lightning strikes further down to the south in parts of Hale County, which is that's pretty menacing in terms of a heavy rainfall signature falling along 14, which goes into Perry County. But still no indication of a tornado anywhere in Alabama or in our area. No indication of a tornado anywhere from any velocity display, which is what we want to see with this line coming through. You can see where that outflow boundary is pushing through Maplesville. It's pushed through Jemison and Thorsby, approaching Clanton right now, down Highway 31, 65. Hidden Valley, basically cutting Chilton County in half, that outflow boundary is from these other storms. But the extreme northern portions of Chilton County, kind of where 31, oh, there goes my mouse, kind of where 31 splits off to go towards Montevallo or Jemison Elementary, likely having very heavy rainfall right now. I believe Billy's Toyota Parts is right around that line. where this heavier rainfall is falling right over Highway 31 before you get into Shelby County and the southern portions of Calera. Not quite to Jemison. Looks like we have heavier rain falling over in Briarfield, Shelby Springs. Yeah, very heavy rainfall, one lightning strike being recorded. And the good thing about this being so close to the radar site is you get a much more accurate idea of what the winds are at the surface. So giving a rough estimate of what these winds are at the surface near Shelby Springs, 18 miles per hour. For all intents and purposes, round up to 20 miles per hour. That's still enough to knock down a small tree or a loose tree or knock branches off a tree, which could potentially hit some power lines and cause some power outages. And that's what we're going to focus on right now. So once again, I'm going to zoom out and we're going to take a look at current power outages in the state. So about 400 in Shelby County. Still looks like Walker County had the most issues with about 1,000. Winston County about 200, about 100 in Coleman County, Birmingham around 400, Tuscaloosa 200, Pickens County 100, Lamar County 200, Fayette County 100. So we do have some lightning strikes, and this storm had a history of producing we do have power outages, and this storm system does have a history of producing some power outages in parts of Mississippi, but I know it could be a lot more extreme than this. So even though folks have lost power, of course, it could be a whole lot worse. And as these storms are pushing into St. Clair County, remember those storms right over Logan Martin Lake, 0 outages being reported in St. Clair County is great. Same thing up in Oneonta, Etowah, Calhoun County. And I'm kind of surprised nothing's being reported up in Cherokee County, where we had all the damage reports coming in from earlier. Here rain in Talladega. So if you are in Talladega, get that out of here. Yeah, it's crossing over Lay Lake right now. Alpine Bay, Renfro, Cuyahoga, Alpine, Winterboro, where that awful tornado hit a year ago down in Winterboro, March 15th. We're actually approaching that anniversary in about a week. Coosa Pines, really anywhere along Lay Lake, from about Paradise Point or so, and areas to the north. So heavy rain falling over Wilsonville, very heavy rainfall falling over Wilsonville, 4 Mile. Getting a little bit closer. So 2 lightning strikes being reported with that. That's what I'm saying. If you know somebody that's on the water at Lay Lake, tell them to get off the water, get inside, because the water is the worst place you can be during any kind of storm with lightning, not just tornadoes. So here you have Paradise Point and areas to the north in Lay Lake. Very heavy rainfall falling, but if you go further down to the south near the Chilton County part of Lay Lake, really nothing's happening. Doesn't mean something's not going to happen, just nothing's happening right now. But this storm that's currently pushing through the Ozan Winery area in southern, this is actually probably over Timberline Golf Course near the southern portions of Shelby County. I would say within the next 30 minutes, if you're on Lay Lake, the southern portions of Lay Lake closer to Chilton County, probably need to go ahead and get the folks off the water, get away from the water. And just once again, taking a reset. This reflectivity is still popping up very high, about to push into Perry County. 8 lightning strikes being recorded, very heavy rainfall. No indication of hail, which is still great news. But if you are near Greensboro, Morgan Springs, eventually Marion is likely going to be dealing with this too. But if you are anywhere near or east of Greensboro and you're getting heavy rain, please let us know, because I would not be surprised if some flooding was coming along with this. So Brush Creek, Greensboro, along 14 to Folsom, Kerbville, Heiberger, Ellards. This is all in the northern half of Perry County. And all this down here, Marengo County, that'll be pushing into Dallas County, Wilcox County. That's not our area, but if you know people down there, just let them know, hey, you have some thunderstorms coming your way. No warning, but they are certainly going to be loud. Going to go back to the National Weather Service to see if we have any new updates. It was about 15 minutes ago. Debris in the road, once again, Cherokee County, debris in the road, Alabama Highway 9 North and County Road 51. Debris in the roadway for a tree, but there's no blockage. Gonna look at our Skywatcher reports. Nothing new. So in Trenton, about 15 minutes ago, northeast wind, peak wind gust of 19. Over ½ inch of rain from Chris Hall in Okahaba and Helena. Storm total of 1.43 inches of Bud Bean in Northport. So that's pretty impressive stuff. And that's another thing we were kind of concerned with today, because these storms today haven't really had a true west to east motion. They've kind of been building on top of each other as they move along. And that's where you have the chance of getting very heavy rainfall and flooding. We also have some storms popping up over here in Tallapoosa County, right over Lake Martin, Dadeville, all the way up to Daviston, Denver. 2 or 3 lightning strikes being recorded with that. Go further off to the north. And once again, there's that outflow boundary. Cutting Chilton County in half, pushing into Clay County, or Coosa County right now, and pushing into Clay County. But on the backside of that, you have some stronger storms forming. Right over Lay Lake once again, moving into Talladega County, Mount Sharon, Indian Shoals, Wilsonville, Childersburg, Coosa Pines, Cuyahoga, Alpine. Looks like we have some heavy rain falling still up in St. Clair County, or is that still, yeah, it's still Talladega County, just south of Lincoln, Munford. Yeah, and at this point, it's just good old-fashioned rain with some thunderstorm mixed in. And I would bet the majority of these thunderstorms, or the majority of these total lightning strikes in our area, are coming from this area pushing into Perry County. I'm going to zoom out. 40 lightning strikes with this general line pushing from Anniston down to Butler and Choctaw County. And still very impressive reflectivity with this particular storm pushing into Perry County. So Morgan Springs, Folsom, Lower Polecat Road. And just know, everywhere else, things are really starting to calm down, because I'm going to draw something for you. I had the wrong thing. Once this particular line moves through your area, really any chance of severe weather is over. It doesn't mean the rain's going to be done, or the thunder or the lightning's going to be done, but the concern with severe weather is going to be done. So if you're in Birmingham, Jasper, Tuscaloosa, Samantha, Wyndham Springs, Pickens County, Aliceville, Carrollton, Benevola, Reform, Gordo, Sulligent, Vernon, Ewan, Fayette, Hamilton, Hackleburg, Lynn, up in Winston County, Coleman counties, Blount counties, your severe threat is really over with. If you want to go to bed, you're fine to go to bed. Still likely going to hear some rain, maybe a rumble of thunder. No severe threat is expected. Vic Bell has a peak wind gust of 27 miles per hour. That's pretty impressive, but still well below severe limits. And so no new comments on that. So I would say folks still that need to watch out would be Clanton, Jemison, Thorsby, Talladega, Sylacauga, Talladega Springs, really the entirety of Talladega County. You're not completely over yet. Coosa County, Clay County, Randolph County, maybe Cleburne County, but I think it's really going to get pinched off up there. And Perry County. Just need to keep an eye on those particular counties. But if you're up here, anywhere up here, you are all clear. Whoops. I'll just have a big A. Your severe threat is over if you're in Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Fayette, Lamar, Marion, Winston, Coleman counties. However, if you're in Bibb County, Chilton County, Clay County, Talladega counties, Coosa counties, Perry counties, parts of Bibb County, might have already said Bibb County, you still need to hold on probably for the next hour or so. We haven't had any warnings aside from the one that was issued about 6 o'clock for Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, and Blount counties. Other than that, there have been no warnings associated with this line, no watches associated with this line, which of course is great news. So once again, if you are in Perry County, Bibb County, Chilton County, Clay County, Talladega counties, Coosa counties, I would even say Randolph County, I'd give it about an hour or two, especially if you're in Randolph County. You still have a little bit of while to go, but everywhere else I just named, Bibb, Chilton, Talladega, Coosa, Clay, give it about an hour, your severe threat will be done. But if you're in Jefferson, Blount, St. Clair, Coleman, Marion, Winston, Walker, Fayette, Lamar, Pickens, really Tuscaloosa counties, your severe threat is over. Still going to rain, still going to have some thunder, maybe, still might have a little bit of lightning, maybe. But your wind gusts, wind speeds have gone down, your lightning has gone down, and overall the lightning strike totals have gone down. Now sitting at 114 lightning strikes. So I'm going to pull once again from the Columbus radar, and I'm going to do a loop. So if you're in northwestern Alabama or western Alabama, this will give you a good idea of what you can expect once this rain moves out. So it's not taking that same motion that normal storms do, but we already have some clearing up in Amory and Aberdeen, Mississippi, Houston, Mississippi. Already seeing some clearing. Even in parts of western Marion and northwestern Lamar counties, we're starting to see some clearing. Great news. Might be still a few stray showers that fall in those northwestern counties, but like I said, severe threat is over. And you can see the number that this outflow boundary is having on these storms. So you see the outflow boundary moves through first. That's the first line of storms weakening and dropping what they have, rain and wind. But since it's a little bit cooler air, if there's an updraft there, if there's energy there, more storms can fire up, acting sort of as a lifting mechanism. So once again, I'm going to roll through it again. If you're in Chilton County, Bibb County, Perry counties, Talladega counties, Coosa County, Clay County, Randolph County, you're not quite in the clear yet. Give it an hour or two, your severe threat will be over. If you're in Jefferson, Tuscaloosa, really Shelby County just about now, Pickens County, Fayette, Lamar, Marion, Winston County, Coleman County, Blount County, Etowah, Calhoun County. No severe threat. Once again, trying to give any updates I can from the National Weather Service. Nothing's coming through. Go to our Sky Watchers, nothing new. And of course, that's great news. I'm going to go back to our power outages and see if we have any new power outages as these storms are still pushing through. Oh, well, I still have it on loop. So this is current. Still, we have Walker County with the highest estimated total of power outages. We still have Jefferson, Shelby, Tuscaloosa, Pickens, Fayette, Lamar, Winston, and Coleman counties but those numbers are low. It could have been a whole lot worse in terms of lightning and power outage numbers, but thankfully it's really starting to go down. And you can see in that top left corner of the screen, the lightning strike counters are going down, which of course, once again, fantastic news. Now, another thing I want to do is see if I can see how much rain has fallen since the storm started. So over the past, let's do 6 hours. Over the past 6 hours in northern Lamar County, 1.63 inches of rain. Winston County, just under 1.5 inches. Northern Jefferson, just under 3/4. Pickens County, this is down near Benevola, over 1 inch of rain. Shelby County, up near Indian Springs Village, once again, just under 3/4 of an inch. Fayette County, actually let's do south of Ewan, just over 1 inch of rain. So that's still very good news that we're getting rainfall, and we're not getting the brunt of what we could have got in terms of a severe threat. And just know the rain's not completely over yet. We still have rain falling just about everywhere. Even though your severe threat's over, rain is still falling. Now, once again, I want to go back down to this feature in Perry County because it's kind of menacing looking. Excuse me 1 second. From Kerbville to Morgan Springs, Brush Creek, north of the city of Marion. Very heavy rain is currently falling. Still, I don't see any indications of hail or any indications of any rotation. That's great news still, but very heavy rain, I would say, falling in Perry County. Back up once again, just kind of get a reset. Check the National Weather Service. Nothing new. Any severe threat to Clanton. So Clanton, I would say within the next 15 minutes, thunder, lightning, heavy rain is going to be impacting Clanton. But I don't think there's going to be a severe threat because the only warning that we've had so far in our area was issued right about 6 o'clock or a little after 6 o'clock, and it was for Jefferson County, Blount counties, and Tuscaloosa County. That's been the only warning so far for winds potentially as high as 60 miles per hour because you need 58 miles per hour to reach the criteria for a severe thunderstorm. But right now it's right over Jemison, eventually Thorsby. This is Highway 31. I believe the dirt bike park is near Union Grove. But Clanton and Lomax right now, that stationary front is pushing through. Same thing with Isabella, a little bit further to the west, Maplesville, which once again had that awful EF3 tornado last year. About 8 days away from the year anniversary of that. But I'm gonna see if I can pull up a Clanton camera and see if we can see the winds of that outflow boundary pushed through. I know we have some good cameras in Clanton because I used to live in Clanton. So let's go. This is going to be right downtown looking at the neighborhood grill. So I think you can kind of see in the distance the wind from that front is blowing the, what's it called? Traffic signals. That's by the E.L. Clinner furniture store, not far from the Golden Pond sushi area. Barbecue joints right behind that red light. Neighborhood grill right there is West Blockton clear. So let's talk about West Blockton. West Blockton is in Bibb County, and I would say so West Blockton, you don't have any thunder or lightning right now, but very heavy rainfall still falling in West Blockton. Along Highway 5 that runs from West Blockton up to Bibbville and eventually Woodstock and just right off the interstate right there. But I would still say your severe threat is over. If there's any severe threat still left, it could potentially be associated with this line pushing north of Marion, through Perry County, or along this line stretching from Talladega, Childersburg, Lay Lake, Jemison, Thorsby, down to Maplesville eventually. If any severe threat materializes any more with this line tonight, it's going to be along that. Other than that, I would just about say that's it, Mobile. So unfortunately, David, with what we have, we do not have Mobile as a radar site by itself. But what I can try and do for you is pull up a composite. So you still have this line that's pushing through southern Mississippi. Quitman to Laurel to Collins, Hattiesburg, Kentwood, Macomb, Mississippi. And this line will likely be still easing to the east. And I'll put a loop on that to kind of give you an idea of how it's moving. So storms are still kind of building on top of each other, but it looks like these storms are generally trending either due east or maybe even slightly east-southeast. But if you are in Mobile, I would maybe say an hour to an hour and a half, maybe, before your threat is there. But for us here in central Alabama, we will not have to worry about this. Did my mic go out? Can't hear myself talking anymore. Whatever. But once again, using the National Composite Radar, you can kind of see how these storms are going. Generally moving kind of like this. Thanks, Theo. This section pushing through Perry County is kind of going like this. But if these sections collide, I wouldn't be surprised if that Perry County storm just completely got wiped out, because it's hitting that rain-cooled air. It doesn't have any lifting mechanism like that outflow boundary has produced. So really for our area, once we see that potential issue in Perry County go away, I can just about call the all clear for everybody. Now, I just had a question about Oxford. So I'm going to go back to our regular radar. We stop the loop. Real quick before I get to Oxford, it kind of took my attention. Down here in Clay County, Lineville, Ashland, about 3 lightning strikes. Sylacauga is about to get some rain and thunderstorms likely. All right, back up to Oxford. Oxford right now, rain. I think that lightning strike's coming from this storm in Cleburne County. Oh, maybe not. But Oxford, rain. I really don't think you'll have much wind to deal with. And so far, 1 lightning strike. So that's it for Oxford. Zoom out one more time. Still a very, I'm going to try to get an idea of where this storm is going to track in Perry County. So from the way it looks, it almost looks like it's kind of stretching out a little bit. And if it keeps going on this estimated track, the central or northern portion of it might impact Centerville and Brent within the next 15 or so minutes. We're going to have this southern portion that might impact Maplesville. Or if it keeps going south, it'll be near the Plantersville area, where that big EF3 tornado originated from last year. Family member said it's not raining in Perry yet. Okay. So let's zoom out again. Go see if there's any reports. Still no reports. Alpine. Oh, that's where that's where Camp Cosby is. So now we'll go to Alpine. So if this is the Alpine you're talking about, heavy rain. Right now, no thunder, no lightning. But if we move still further down to the south and east, this is Clay County, Barfield, Lineville, Ashland. Heavy rainfall over here near Wadawi is about to get some rain. Roanoke's getting some heavy rain. Wadley. Now, this feature is still just so interesting down in Perry County. That must be a very prolific rainmaker. And if it keeps on this track, remember I would say, Centerville and Brent, Okmulgee, good hunt land out there, and potentially even Maplesville. Now I'm going to hope this tries to steer further down to the south and not be so impactful to southern Bibb or western Chilton County. But I think the lightning counter also just went down on that, even though it's still producing a wicked reflectivity spike. So once again, going to zoom out, reset. It's okay to be scared of bad weather. It's perfectly okay. But if you're in Randolph County, Clay County, Talladega counties, Chilton County, Coosa County, Perry County, southern Bibb County, you're still going to be having to deal with some rough weather over the next hour or so. But if you're in Jefferson County, Walker County, Fayette, Lamar, Marion, Winston, Coleman, Blount, Etowah, Calhoun, St. Clair, Marshall, Pickens, Tuscaloosa County, your severe threat is over. Still might have some thunder, might have some lightning, but no severe threat will be expected. So, still going to focus on Chilton County, Jemison, Thorsby area. We may have a camera there along Highway 31. We have one in Thorsby. It's at Concordia Street at 31. I think I know what this gas station is. Yes, because I believe the schools are right across the street from this Citgo. There's a Dollar General just to the right of that Citgo I know of. It's not too far from downtown Jemison. This is Thorsby, by the way. This is Thorsby. So Thorsby schools are right across the street. The train tracks, there's a storage facility you could probably see just off in the distance. And the Chilton County dump is not far from this either. I would bet it's probably storming at the Chilton County dump right now too. But other than that, not much happening across the area. I'm gonna zoom out again. Still the storm in Marion County, or in Perry County, is very interesting. Getting a new scan on it now, still popping very high reflectivity values. There might be a little bit of hail involved with this. maybe small hail in Perry County. But no indication of any spin, which is great news. No indication of rotation anywhere, really. And now we're in the double digits for lightning. About 5 minutes ago, we were about 112, and now we're down to 83. Great news. But we still have this outflow boundary pushing through. See it right here in southern Clay County, into Coosa County, pushing through Chilton County, part of Dallas County near Plantersville, and into Perry County. So that's the outflow boundary that could get some storms going if we're not already stable enough. Because if we're already stable enough, it's just going to rain. Light rain and windy in Briarfield. Okay, Talladega. If you're talking the city of Talladega, I'll zoom in. So 0 lightning for Talladega. Heavy rainfall to the south. Heavy rain falling just to the south of Winterboro, Alpine, Tallahatchie. There might be some lightning right now over Sylacauga and the sun and the moon, because I know the sun and the sunrise and the moon are right here. I'm going to see if we have a camera in Sylacauga to give us some visuals. We do not. But if you're over Sylacauga, in Sylacauga, it's probably lightning a little bit right now. Heavy rain and wind in Lineville, starting to rain heavy. Perry and slightly windy. Where are they at? Rebecca Bray. They in. And then heavy rain and wind in Lineville. Yep, you were right on it in Lineville. Ashland to Midway to Barfield. 1 lightning strike, probably in this batch near Faith Drive, County Road 5, if I had to guess. Or maybe it's this little patch just south of Midway. So, yeah. Clay County's got a couple of lightning strikes. Lineville, thank you, by the way, Brenda Garcia, for that. Hatchet Creek. Sycamore, just north of Sylacauga along 21, has very heavy rainfall. So, nothing else so far. This is a interesting feature. Hidden Valley, Wildwood Shores, that's Lay Lake. Yeah, very heavy rainfall falling there. I don't think we have any cameras in Perry. Well, excuse me. Coming off the backside of a cold. So this camera is down in Marion. And not really much happening there. I think that's more so of a bad picture as opposed to rain. But still that very strong looking system just to the north of Marion. Between Perry County line of Marion, Sylacauga. All right, so we'll just hop city to city for y'all. Yeah, Sylacauga likely have very heavy rain falling over you right now. You have Sylacauga, the moon, sunrise, Sycamore, 1 lightning strike. Might be a little breezy. No sign of rotation, so no tornado, thankfully. But I will give you an idea. 29 miles per hour, 23 miles per hour. So honestly, around the city of Sylacauga, probably 20 to 25 mile per hour winds, maybe a touch lower, but nothing too serious with that. I'll back up again to see if we can see some of the higher velocity values. Still that interesting feature down here. Pushing from Marion to Heiberger, Ellards. Yeah, 40 miles per hour, 45 miles per hour. And remember, this is shooting way up in the atmosphere. This is not shooting at ground level. So at that elevation, probably 30 to 35 miles per hour, give or take. I go back to the National Weather Service, nothing new from them. Go to our Skywatcher reports. If y'all don't mind, I'm gonna sit in my chair. Daily weather reports. Pinson, over 1/2 inch of rain so far, which has been pretty impressive. Yeah, not really much happening right now. There's still no active warnings, no active watches. We haven't had a watch all day. Lightning strike counter is still going down. About 5 minutes ago, we were at about 83. Now we're at 80. And I would bet most of these lightning strike counters that we're getting, the 81 lightning strikes, are coming from this batch of storms in Georgia. Because look at that. In Alabama, we go 81. Then we immediately shoot up to over 100 lightning strikes. So I would bet this batch of rain and storms in Georgia is causing a good bit of the jump in lightning. But back to here, 80 lightning strikes, 79 lightning strikes. And it actually looks like this little system in Perry County is losing its strength a little bit. Going to Theo, Cleveland Mills, Sprott, Adler. So yeah, nothing new. Nothing new there. We're about to get a new radar scan. We're going to keep a real close eye on this one, on this scan. So storm's not quite yet to Clanton, but getting there. So it still has some rainfall intensity, but I don't see much. Yeah, maybe itty bitty small hail, maybe. But even then, it's not going to do much of an issue. Rain picks up and slacks off and on in Bibb County right now. So yeah, especially if you're near Centerville, Eolan, you'll have heavy rain and light rain, then maybe no rain. Antioch, Brent. But if you're closer to the line, the Bibb County, Perry County line, I wouldn't be surprised if very heavy rainfall is falling. 5 lightning strikes being recorded with that. I think there's a camera in Brent. I'm not sure how well we'll be able to see that. Yeah, there is. So we got that changed over to Centerville and Brent. And I believe right at this intersection, if you turned left coming this way, you would go towards Montevallo. Other than that, slick roadways. Doesn't look like it's very windy there. Zoom out once more. So once again, besides that storm in Perry County, thunderstorms pushing into parts of Coosa County. This is not far from the Coosa County WMA. I think it's just to the north of that. Isabella, Campbell, and Chilton County. Right over Highway 22. That runs from Clanton to Maplesville, getting some heavy rain. Looks like we might have some rain falling right over 145. And 145 takes you up towards Lay Lake as well. But it looks like most of that activity is pushed over Lay Lake. In Centerville, okay. A little reflectivity spike just south of Thorsby. It's 31 that goes to Lomax. A lot of industrial areas out in Lomax. So this is not a new scan yet. We gotta wait a couple of more minutes for a new scan to come in, because scans usually come every 5 minutes. So Linda Bishop, when will the storms move out? So depending on where you're at, the overall storm threat is done, because let's go up here to include Jefferson and Tuscaloosa, Walker, Fayette, Lamar counties. There's zero lightning. It's just rain, and that's great news. Now, the air is very cool. It's very stable. So really, I can almost count out lightning and thunderstorms for those counties northwest of Birmingham. But remember, if you're further down to the south and east, still Chilton County, still going to be dealing with it. Perry County, still going to be dealing with it. Southern Bibb County, southeastern Talladega counties, Clay County, Coosa County, still have a little bit of time. So Clay County, we'll go up to Clay County right now. Lineville, Ashland getting heavy rain. Millerville, heavy rain. 2 lightning strikes being recorded. Oh, now 0 lightning strikes being recorded. Still great news, but heavy rainfall is still looking like the primary issue that most people are going to face tonight. The atmosphere is cooling down. It's stabilizing. And I want to pull that up too and show our temperatures. Show what kind of a swing we have. So we have 59 right on that Marion, Winston County line up in Haleyville, 67 down in Clanton, 72 in Centerville. So it's still warm down there, but in general, the atmosphere is starting to ease up, which is great news. Now, those are temperatures, and I also want to look at dew points. It's currents, dew points. So you can see that drier air is starting to move into Marion, Lamar, Fayette, Winston, Walker counties. So with that drier air moving in, those rain chances and overall rain showers are also going to start decreasing and really just decreasing in general. Not much wind, but still heavy rain in Perry right now. Yeah, that's still a very interesting feature down there in Perry County. But you can still see, I want to draw this line one more time, a little bit higher dew points going through about right here. So you still have very high dew points down in Autauga County, which is south of Chilton County, where Prattville is, and Pine Level. To the east of that, you have Elmore County, which is where Wetumpka's at. Still very humid down there, so to speak. But from Shelby County to Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, I mean, that dry air is starting to move in, and your overall chance of rain will also start to go down. But back to reflectivity now, and that's where you can see where the majority of those little pop-up popcorn cells are. Where south of this white line, your dew points are still a little bit higher. And it looks like we have some storms pushing up 22 towards Clanton right now. So I'm going to go back to our Clanton camera. There's one lightning strike being recorded. So maybe we can get a chance to see it. Maybe not, though, because this is pointing 31 south in Clanton. So back to our cameras. So it even looks like the traffic light's starting to ease up a little bit. Roads don't look that wet, but that's likely going to change because Clanton quite hasn't got the chance or the rain yet on the backside of this outflow boundary. So remember, the wrong thing again. Outflow boundary's right here. Storms are still firing up behind that outflow boundary and generally moving kind of east-southeast. But still only 3 lightning strikes included right now, and that's the storms up in Talladega counties and Coosa counties, Chilton County, Bibb, and Perry counties. And that's a very good trend that we're seeing, is the lightning strikes are going down, the atmosphere's stabilizing, and then we'll just be dealing with good old-fashioned rain. Check that out, total lightning strikes. Not even just a couple of minutes ago, we were at 80. Now we're at 56. West Blockton, not much wind, but has rain, not heavy rain. Yeah, and just know too, once again, I've said it, if you're in those counties where the severe threat is over, your rain's not quite over yet. But check that out too, up in Marion County, rain's almost done. Raining in Gewin, but the majority of Marion County is appearing dry right now. This is a look from Columbus, the northern half of Lamar County's drying out, Sulligent dry, Hamilton dry, Franklin County's dry. Really from Brilliant, Winfield, Rock City, up in Marion County, up I-22. As soon as you get in the county, rain, but other than that, really starting to calm down. We'll zoom out again. It's almost like that's getting a little bow shape to it, but no indications of any rotation down in Perry County or Bibb County. Great news. $55 lightning strikes, 57 lightning strikes. I'm going to zoom in to get those Georgia storms out. So all of the lightning strikes you see right now are from storms from Randolph County, Clay County, Talladega counties, Coosa County, Chilton County, Bibb County, and Perry County. 2 lightning strikes are being recorded. I'm going to go back again to, all right, 2700 block County Road 45 in Cherokee County. Power lines down and the road and it's on fire. That's from the emergency manager in Cherokee County. So I'm gonna go back up again to Cherokee County. That's a new scam we have coming in too. So this is Cherokee and still raining there some, but let's go to High Top. Yeah, still some light rain, but still probably a little breezy up there. And when you have really saturated ground, it's not going to take a severe wind gust to knock down a tree or a power line. So once again, it says 51 lightning strikes, but I'm going to zoom in just to include Alabama. Get more of a top-down view on it. So 6 lightning strikes. Wouldn't be surprised. Well, only 2 lightning strikes coming from this system moving towards Okmulgee and the National Forest, which is just south of Centerville and Brent in Bibb County. So if you know anybody around the National Forest in Perry or Bibb counties, might get loud soon. Still no indication of a tornado. Great news. 2 lightning strikes being recorded. Heavy rainfall. No hail. Of course, it's great news. Now we're down to 1 lightning strike. Even those storms in Georgia are starting to weaken. So we'll probably give it just a few more minutes before we sign off, just so we can answer any questions if anybody has them. North Gardendale's had just under 4/10 of an inch of rain since midnight. Yeah, that's all we have so far. I want to do something too. I want to put in storm reports. Live storm reports to see if anything's popping up that we're missing. Doesn't look like there is. Now, these are up in Winston counties. This was from earlier in the day. Thunderstorm wind damage at 4:30, 2 miles southwest of Lynn. And then I believe this one was near the Harrison Recreational. Once again in Winston County, about the same time. Thunderstorm wind damage about 4.5 hours ago. And then up here in Cherokee County, thunderstorm wind damage. And I believe that is all we have in terms of that. In terms of any storm reports in our area. One north of Coleman, but that's amazing too that we so far have no reports along that leading edge of storms. Always grateful for that. One last time, I'm going to zoom into Chilton County. So likely raining very hard in Clanton within the next couple of minutes. It's not far from my old house, actually, this higher reflectivity value. How soon will the rain be gone? The rain will be gone tomorrow morning. The overall rain mass will be gone tomorrow morning. The severe threat will be done well before then, but the rain itself will be tomorrow morning. Go to Pell City. No lightning strikes, still raining over Logan Martin Lake, Cropwell. Really most around Pell City it's raining. And most of really all of St. Clair County, somewhere is getting rain in St. Clair County. Blunt's getting some light rain. Looks like we might have some dry air intrusion from Fultondale to Morris, some points east. I believe Kimberly might have had a report from earlier. So going back to the question of when will the rain be out of here, I'm going to go back to modeling one more time to kind of give you an idea. And of course, we got to find the right time, which even this looks way too intense. This is from the HRRR, high resolution rapid refresh, and this is looking rather intense too, because there's really no chance of redevelopment. And you want to know how to know that this model run is not good, because you always look at what's happening now and compare it to how the model's initializing. So let's zoom out again and look. Keep an eye on Marion County. That's where Hamilton and Guin is, top left of your screen. So Hamilton, Guin, and Winston County, no rain. But back to that model is showing rain and thunderstorms up in Marion County. So it's not initializing right. So now I want to try, Lord, none of these runs are good. But just once again to give you an idea, rain overnight tonight, some showers lingering into early Sunday morning, but really by daybreak Sunday, remember to set your clocks forward too. Daylight saving time starts tonight, so from 1:59 in the morning, it'll jump to 3 o'clock. But 7, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, most of the rain is gone. We can't rule out the chance of a few stray pop-up showers in the afternoon, but that chance really just isn't that high. So we're good with that. How's Anniston's weather tonight? We'll go back and look at Anniston. More than likely the same thing most people are going to be dealing with. It's going to rain. I really don't think you'll have to worry about thunder or lightning. Just some good old-fashioned rain. It's a good pollen buster type of rain. I'll say that too. Zoom into Anniston. Got some rain moving in, but very mundane. No thunder, no lightning. Maybe 10, 15 mile an hour gust every now and then. This is not a new scan. We're about to get a new scan once the radar goes around again. Sylacauga, looks like the worst is done for you. No lightning. Maybe some heavy rainfall on the eastern side of Sylacauga, but other than that, thumbs up, you're fine. Is that Weogufka? Might have some heavy rainfall, no lightning. I'm just going to go across this line and see if we have any lightning showing up. So we do have now heavy rainfall falling in Clanton. No lightning, no lightning. No lightning in this system going to the Talladega National Forest on the Bibb County side. Great news there, but real quick before we go off, we have rain in Clanton, and that camera is right about here. Right about here is that camera that we were just looking at. So we're going to go back to that camera, see how it's looking in Clanton. Nope, that's Demopolis. So you see the rain's falling now. It's a little breezy. And remember, this is looking at 31 south, so towards downtown Clanton. And this is just an isolated pocket of heavy rain. Light rain is likely going to continue for the next several hours. Remember, it's likely going to be early tomorrow morning before the rain is done. Heavy rain falling right now. No indication of lightning. Go back and take one more look. One more time, we're going to zoom out, take a look at everything, and just kind of go along this line, the main line, and see if anything's happening. So we have some lightning. I believe this is Chambers County. Have some lightning there. Really have lightning firing up over Georgia. But for us, most of it's very just rain. So Randolph County, Clay County. No lightning in Clay County. No lightning in Randolph County. No lightning in Talladega County. No lightning in Coosa County. No lightning in Chilton County. No lightning in Bibb County. No lightning in Perry County. And all of this behind it, remember, it's just rain. That's it. Jefferson, Tuscaloosa, Coleman, Fayette, Lamar, Winston, Walker, Marion, Pickens, Blunt. I mean, you're fine to go to sleep because this is just rain. Good old-fashioned rain. Other than that, Clay County, Coosa County, you still have this line pushing through, but it seems to be very quiet right now. So, I mean, with that, I think we're good to sign off. So, once again, if you're in Chilton County, give it 30 minutes, you'll be done. It'll just be rain after that. I'll check the velocity on this little system. Once again, no signs of rotation, no lightning. Great news. All right. One more time, Chilton County, about 30 minutes before that leading edge of that line is through. Same thing for Coosa County, Clay County, mostly Randolph County. You're just about done. So with that, I think we are good to sign off. Thanks, everybody, for staying with us. For the ABC 3340 Weather Authority team, I'm meteorologist Riley Blackwell.